The glass building floated in space above a beautiful crystal planet. This was the Galactic Council, the place where aliens from many different worlds came to talk about important things. The building was made of clear material that let everyone see the colorful clouds and stars outside. It had been there for thousands of years, and many species considered it the most important place in the galaxy. Jake Morrison stood outside the main entrance. He was a human, a commander in Earth's Space Force. He wore his best uniform, the one with all the medals and badges. He kept fixing his collar because he felt nervous. Next to him stood Lauren Beck, a smart scientist who worked with the human government. She looked at her electronic tablet and seemed calm, but Jake knew she was worried too. "Are you scared?" Lauren asked without looking up from her tablet. Jake smiled a little. "Walking into a room full of aliens who think we are dangerous monsters?" "No, not scared at all." Lauren almost laughed but stopped herself. They both knew this meeting would be difficult. Humans had only met the Galactic Council 2 years ago. When the aliens first found Earth, they were shocked. Earth was what they called a Class 12 death world. This meant Earth was one of the most dangerous planets in the entire galaxy. Most aliens could not survive there. Earth's gravity was too strong. The air had too much oxygen. The weather could kill you. There were animals that could tear you apart. Even the plants could be poisonous. The Council did not know what to do with humans. They decided to let Earth join the galaxy, but with strict rules. Humans could trade with other planets. Humans could learn about alien technology, but humans could not have important jobs. They could not join the peacekeeper forces. They could not vote on big decisions. The Council said humans were too dangerous, too violent, too unpredictable. For 2 years, humans accepted these rules. They did not complain. They tried to show they could be good members of the galactic community. But then something terrible happened. A big ship called the Celestial Dawn disappeared. This ship carried 30,000 people from 7 different species. It vanished in a dangerous area of space called the Krell sector. The Council asked humans to come and talk about it. A gentle voice spoke behind them. "Commander Morrison, Dr. Beck, please follow me. The Council is ready." They turned and saw Ambassador Thelen. She was a Vaxori, an alien with blue skin and 4 arms. She moved gracefully and spoke in a musical voice. Jake and Lauren followed her through the clear hallways. Other aliens moved away when they saw the humans coming. Some looked curious. Others looked afraid. Jake noticed a group of insect-like aliens that quickly scurried away when he glanced at them. The main council room was huge. Seats went up in circles like a stadium. Aliens of all shapes and sizes sat in these seats. Some looked like animals from Earth. Others looked completely strange. At the very top sat the 5 pillars, the most powerful members of the council. A loud voice filled the room. It seemed to come from everywhere at once. "Humans, you stand before the Galactic Council. We want to talk about the disappearance of the Celestial Dawn. What do you have to say?" The voice belonged to Executor Van. He was made of living crystal that sparkled with different colors. He was enormous and beautiful and terrifying all at the same time. Jake walked to the center of the room. Everyone could see him now. "Executor Van, members of the council, we want to help. The Celestial Dawn had people from many worlds on it. Losing that ship is sad for everyone." Another voice spoke up. This one was harsh and angry. "Maybe you humans made the ship disappear. Maybe you attacked it." This voice came from Counselor Zex. He looked like a giant lizard with sharp teeth. He represented the Sauron Collective, a group of reptile-like species. Lauren stepped forward. "That is a serious thing to say, Counselor. Do you have any proof?" "The proof is what you are," Zex hissed. "You come from a world of death and violence. Your whole history is full of wars. You made weapons that could destroy entire planets. You reached space while still fighting each other. Why should we trust you?" Jake felt angry but kept his voice calm. "You should trust us because we are here. You called us and we came. We want to help find that ship, not because we have to, but because it is the right thing to do." A floating alien that looked like a jellyfish in a glass ball spoke next. "Nice words, human. But words are not enough. We need proof that you mean what you say." "What kind of proof?" Lauren asked. Executor Van's crystal body shifted and light bounced through it in complex patterns. "The Krell sector is very dangerous. Our own peacekeepers will not go there without many warships to protect them. If humans really want to prove they are good, we have a test. Send a small team into the Krell sector. Find out what happened to the Celestial Dawn. Come back with answers." Jake and Lauren looked at each other. They both understood immediately. This was a trap. The Krell sector was famous for being deadly. Sending a small team there was almost certainly a death sentence. The council was testing them, maybe hoping they would fail. What happens if we succeed? Jake asked. Then maybe we will change our minds about humans, Van replied. Maybe we will give you more freedom in the galaxy. But if you fail, it will prove what many of us already believe. Deathworlders do not belong with civilized species. Lauren took a breath and stepped forward. We will do it. But we need all the information you have about the Celestial Dawn and the Krell sector. The room erupted in noise. Aliens started talking all at once in many different languages. They accepted, one voice said in shock. That is crazy, another voice muttered. Silence, Van commanded. The room became quiet instantly. Very well, humans. You have 2 days to prepare. Then you will go to the Krell sector. Good luck. You will need more than luck to survive. Jake and Lauren left the council room. They could feel hundreds of eyes watching them. Some aliens looked hopeful. Others looked disgusted. Most looked afraid. They were scared of what these Deathworlders might do. When they were alone in the hallway, Lauren spoke quietly. Well, that went better than expected. Jake laughed even though he did not feel happy. Better? They just sent us to die. True, Lauren agreed with a small smile. But at least they are scared of us. We can use that, scared, Jake repeated. They have not seen anything yet. They walked back to their ship knowing the real test was about to begin. The human ship was called Sierra 7. It did not look like the beautiful ships that other aliens flew. Those ships had smooth curves and artistic designs. Sierra 7 was all sharp edges and thick armor plating. It looked like a weapon, like a tool built to survive in the worst conditions. That was exactly what it was. Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the ship. The bridge was the control room where the crew worked. He looked at a holographic display that showed their route into the Krell sector. The display floated in the air showing stars and planets in dangerous areas. Lauren Beck sat at the science station nearby. She was studying all the data the council had given them about the missing ship. Did you find anything useful? Jake asked. That depends on what you mean by useful, Lauren replied. The Celestial Dawn's last message stopped in the middle of a sentence. Before that, they said they saw strange readings near some asteroids. Whatever happened to them happened very fast. Pirates usually do not leave witnesses alive, Jake said. If pirates attacked the Dawn, there should be pieces of the ship floating in space. There should be escape pods. There should be something. Maybe they did not want to leave evidence, Lauren said quietly. The ship's pilot was a young man named Danny Foster. He called out from his station. Commander, we are getting close to the sector boundary. Once we cross that line, we will be outside council protection. I understand, Jake said. Everyone go to battle stations. From now on, we treat everything we see as dangerous. Sierra 7 had a crew of only 8 people. All of them had volunteered for this mission even though they knew they might die. Besides Jake, Lauren, and Danny, there were 5 others. Carla Price was the chief engineer. She could fix almost anything with just basic tools. Neil Cross was the medical officer. He had treated many wounded soldiers in Earth's wars. Alex Rivera and Maya Chen were security specialists, trained fighters who knew how to handle weapons. Ben Walsh was the communications officer who could understand and translate alien languages. As they crossed into the Krell sector, alarms started going off. The ship's sensors detected many dangers. There were areas where gravity pulled in strange ways. There were fields of asteroids that could smash into them. There were clouds of gas that could damage the ship. Any of these things could kill them if they were not careful. I am reading debris fields, Lauren announced. Some of this wreckage looks recent. How recent? Jake asked. Within the last month. The debris matches the design of council ships. Everyone on the bridge became quiet. If council ships had been destroyed here recently, the situation was worse than they thought. Contact, Maya suddenly shouted. 3 ships approaching fast from the asteroid field. They are small vessels. Pirates? Jake asked. Probably. They are trying to communicate with us. Let them through, Jake ordered. The main screen flickered and showed an alien face. The creature looked like a mix between a praying mantis and a wolf. It had multiple eyes that gleamed with intelligence and hunger. Unknown ship, you have entered Krell territory. Give us your cargo and we will let you live. Jake crossed his arms. Krell territory? The galactic laws say this sector belongs to no one. The pirate's mouth parts clicked together in what might have been laughter. Galactic law means nothing here, human. This is our space. We have heard of your kind. Deathworlders, they call you. But that is just a word. Surrender or die. I have a different idea, Jake said calmly. Tell me what happened to the Celestial Dawn and I will let you run away before I destroy your ships. There was silence for a moment. Then the pirate started laughing, a horrible clicking sound. You destroy us? Your ship is tiny. Your crew is small. You are nothing but, Jake nodded to Maya. She pressed a button. Sierra 7's weapons fired immediately. The shots were precise and powerful. The first pirate ship exploded instantly, overwhelmed by the attack. The second pirate ship tried to dodge, but Alex had already locked missiles onto it. The third pirate ship tried to shoot back, but its weapons could not get through Sierra 7's shields. In less than 30 seconds, all 3 pirate ships were destroyed. Did we really just do that? Ben said quietly, his voice full of surprise. Yes, Jake said simply. Lauren, scan for survivors. If anyone escaped in a pod, bring them in. Commander? Danny asked, sounding uncertain. We need information, Jake explained. These pirates know something about what happened here. They found one survivor. The pirate was badly hurt but still alive. Dr. Cross worked to keep the creature from dying while Jake and Lauren prepared to question it. The pirate looked up at the humans with new fear in its many eyes. You are not like other species, the pirate said weakly. No, Lauren agreed. We are not. Now tell us about the Celestial Dawn. Where is it? Gone, the pirate said. Taken, we only collect debris. We do not attack big ships. Too dangerous. Who took it? Jake demanded. The Void Raiders. They came 3 weeks ago. Very powerful ships. They take entire vessels with all the crew. We do not know where they take them. We do not ask questions. Those who ask questions never come back. Void Raiders? Lauren looked at Jake. I have never heard of them. Maybe they are new, Jake said. Or maybe they are old and the council does not know about them. Either way, we need to find them. You cannot fight them, the pirate insisted. They are too strong. Even Deathworlders cannot win against them. Jake smiled, but it was not a friendly smile. Then they have not met real Deathworlders yet. Over the next several hours, Sierra 7 moved deeper into the Krell sector. They followed trails of debris and energy signatures. They encountered 2 more groups of pirates. Both groups ran away as soon as they identified the human ship. Word was spreading quickly through the sector. Ben intercepted a transmission between pirates. The Deathworlders are hunting. Stay away from Sector Gamma. They destroyed the Bloodfang pack and took no damage. Good, Alex said with satisfaction. Let them be afraid. But Jake was not satisfied with just scaring pirates. They needed to find the Celestial Dawn or at least learn what happened to it. Time was running out. The council would not wait forever for answers. Commander, Lauren said suddenly, I am picking up a massive energy reading. It is bigger than anything I have ever seen before. A ship? Jake asked. More like a station. Or maybe a small moon. Whatever it is artificial and putting out enough power to run an entire planet. Danny's hands moved quickly over his controls. That must be them. The Void Raiders. Take us in slowly, Jake ordered. Use stealth mode. I want to see what we are dealing with before they know we are here. As Sierra 7 crept forward quietly, the massive structure came into view. It was a ship, but unlike anything in council space, it was dark and angular with many weapons. It looked like something from a nightmare, and attached to its hull, held by giant mechanical arms, was the Celestial Dawn. There is our missing ship, Lauren said. But Jake, look at those power readings. That raider ship could fight an entire council battle fleet. Good thing we are not a council fleet then, Jake replied. He turned to look at his crew. All right, everyone. This is what we came here for. Let us show these Void Raiders what Deathworlders can really do. The crew looked at each other and nodded. They were ready. The Void Raider station looked like a metal monster floating in the darkness of space. Its surface was covered with strange structures and weapons. Lights blinked on and off in patterns that might have been signals or warnings. The captured Celestial Dawn hung next to it, held tight by huge mechanical claws that were 10 times bigger than the ship itself. I am detecting life signs on the Dawn, Lauren reported. Her voice was tight with tension. They are faint, but they are there. Some of the crew is still alive. How many? Jake asked. At least 300 people. The rest, she did not finish her sentence. Everyone understood what she meant. Jake studied the tactical display on his screen. His mind worked through different plans and possibilities. They could not attack the station directly. Even with Sierra 7's advanced weapons, they could not fight something that big. But humans had something the raiders probably did not expect. Humans knew how to be creative and adapt because they came from a death world. Carla, Jake called to the engineering station. How close can you get us to that station without triggering their sensors? If I route all the extra power to the stealth field, maybe 300 meters. But Commander, if they spot us at that range, they will not have time to react before we are already inside. Jake finished her sentence. That is the plan. Inside? Danny turned from his pilot station. Commander, you cannot be serious. We cannot rescue everyone from the dawn with a normal approach, Jake explained. And we cannot fight that station in open space. So we do what humans do best. We adapt, we sneak in, we turn their strength into weakness. Lauren looked up from her console. You are talking about boarding the raider station. 3-person team, Jake confirmed. Maya, Alex, and me. We go in quietly, gather information, find the station's critical systems. Maybe we can disable their weapons long enough to get the dawn out of there. What if you cannot? Neil Cross asked quietly. Then we at least get the crew off before things go wrong, Jake said. Lauren, you will be in command if we do not make it back. Your job is to get those civilians home safely. Jake, Lauren started to protest, but he interrupted her. That is an order, Doctor. Now let us move. Danny, bring us in dark. Carla, I need every bit of stealth you can give us. Sierra 7 crept forward through space with its engines barely making any sound. Its power output was reduced to almost nothing. To anyone watching, it would look like just another piece of debris. Just one more fragment in a sector full of wreckage. As they got closer to the station, they could see more details. The structure was old, much older than anything the current council species had built. It looked like it came from a civilization that had fallen long before most species achieved space travel. But someone had reactivated it and turned it into a prison and processing center. Processing center, Lauren said, reading the scan data with growing horror. That is what this is. They are not just capturing ships. They are harvesting them, breaking them down for resources, and the crews are being sorted, Alex finished grimly. Some to be sold as slaves, others... He did not continue. Jake's jaw tightened. Slavery was officially banned in council space, but everyone knew it still existed in dark corners. Species from death worlds were especially valuable because they could survive harsh conditions that would kill more delicate beings. We are in position, Danny announced. 300 meters from the hull, lined up with what looks like a maintenance entrance. Jake, Maya, and Alex put on their combat suits in the airlock. They checked their equipment carefully and efficiently. Human combat armor was heavier than most species could wear. It was designed to work in extreme gravity and in the vacuum of space. Their weapons used bullets instead of energy beams, a choice that confused most aliens but made perfect sense to anyone who understood how fragile electronics could be in battle. Communications check, Jake said through his suit speakers. Reading you clearly, Lauren replied from the bridge. I am sending you the tactical data now. The docking port you are targeting appears to be a maintenance entrance. Low traffic, minimal security. Appears to be, Alex noted. I love those odds. Stay alert, Jake said. We do not know what species runs this operation. It could be anyone. The airlock opened and the 3 humans jetted across the gap between the ship and the station. In the vastness of space, they were tiny dots against the massive hull. Easy to miss if anyone was not looking carefully. They reached the docking port and Maya immediately started working on the access panel. Standard council encryption, she muttered. Old version, but still working. Give me 90 seconds. Those 90 seconds felt like hours. Jake kept watch with his weapon ready, scanning for any sign they had been detected. But the station remained quiet, its attention focused on the captured ship. The lock clicked open with a sound of equalizing pressure. We are in, Maya confirmed. They entered through a narrow maintenance corridor. They immediately noticed the low lighting and the strange smell in the air. The station's life support was set for a different atmosphere than humans normally breathed, but their suits adjusted automatically. This way, Jake said, following the route Lauren had mapped out. The command center should be 3 levels up. They moved through the corridors like ghosts. Their training showed in every careful step. When they encountered a patrol of 2 insect-like guards carrying energy rifles, Maya and Alex took them down silently and efficiently. The bodies were hidden in a storage compartment before anyone could notice. As they climbed higher into the station, They began to see other captives. Beings from dozens of different species were held in cells that looked more like specimen containers than prison blocks. Most were unconscious, kept sedated by drugs or gas. Others stared out with empty, hopeless eyes. Their spirits were already broken. "We will come back for them," Jake promised quietly. "All of them." "Commander," Alex said suddenly. "Movement ahead." A lot of movement. They pressed against the wall as a large group passed by. These were not guards. They were workers, beings from various species all wearing the same gray jumpsuits. They moved with mechanical precision like they were being controlled or had given up all hope. "This operation is bigger than we thought," Maya whispered. They reached a junction where the corridor opened into a larger space. Below them, visible through a transparent floor panel, was a vast chamber filled with advanced technology. In the center, overseeing everything, was a massive creature that made all three humans freeze. It was huge, easily 4 meters tall. It had 6 limbs and a body that seemed to be part living tissue and part machine. Its head was a cluster of sensory organs that constantly moved and adjusted, taking in every detail. Around it, smaller beings ran about, clearly serving it. "What is that?" Alex breathed. "I do not know," Jake admitted. "But whatever it is in charge. Lauren, are you getting this video feed?" "Yes." Lauren's voice came back through their communicators. "Running it through the database now." "Jake, this is very bad. That species is listed as extinct. They are called the Dreknor. The Council wiped them out 2,000 years ago for terrible crimes against other living beings." "Apparently they missed one," Maya said. The Dreknor suddenly stopped moving. Its sensory cluster rotated, scanning the area. Jake felt his heart beat faster. But he forced himself to stay perfectly still. The creature's attention passed over their hiding spot once, twice, then locked directly onto their position. "It sees us," Alex said. The station suddenly came alive with alarms. Lights flashed red everywhere. Doors slammed shut throughout the facility. From every corridor, armed guards began to appear. "So much for staying quiet," Jake said, raising his weapon. "New plan. We fight our way to the command center and shut this place down." "That is a terrible plan," Maya observed, even as she opened fire on the first wave of guards. "Do you have a better one?" "Not really, no." The fight that followed was brutal and chaotic. Human weapons tore through alien guards with devastating efficiency. The kinetic rounds punched through armor and shields designed to stop energy weapons. Guards fell back in confusion, unprepared for the ferocity of the Deathworlder assault. But there were so many of them. For every guard that fell, 2 more appeared. Jake, Maya, and Alex fought their way forward step by step. Their armor took many hits but held strong. Human combat training was not about being elegant or efficient. It was about using overwhelming force and being willing to endure pain that would kill most other species. They could take punishment that would drop any other being. They reached the command center door just as the Dreknor itself appeared. The massive creature moved with surprising speed for something so large. It roared, a sound that seemed to shake the entire station's structure, and charged directly at them. Alex fired his weapon, but the creature's mechanical parts included shielding that absorbed the shots. Maya threw an explosive device, but the Dreknor batted it away with casual contempt. It was Jake who noticed the organic portions of the creature's body, the vulnerable points where flesh connected to metal. He aimed carefully and fired a burst directly into the joint where the Dreknor's main arm connected to its body. The creature screamed and stumbled. Green blood sprayed from the wound. But it did not fall. Instead, it became more enraged and more dangerous. "Get the door open," Jake shouted, continuing to fire. "I will hold it off." "Commander," Maya started to protest. "That is an order, go." Maya and Alex turned to the command center door and worked frantically on the lock while Jake faced the wounded Dreknor alone. The creature circled him, intelligent enough to recognize a real threat but too angry to retreat. "Come on," Jake muttered to himself. "Just you and me. Let us see if extinct species are as tough as Deathworlders." The Dreknor charged. Jake held his ground, waiting until the last possible moment before diving aside. The creature crashed into the wall behind where he had been standing, denting the thick metal. Before it could recover, Jake was on its back. His combat knife found the gaps in its armor. He struck again and again at the vulnerable flesh underneath. The Dreknor thrashed wildly, trying to throw him off. But Jake held on with the strength that came from living under Earth's crushing gravity his whole life. Finally, with a shuddering groan, the creature collapsed and stopped moving. "Door is open," Alex called out. Jake pulled himself off the Dreknor's body and ran to join them. Together, the three humans entered the command center and sealed the door behind them. Inside, they found themselves surrounded by technology both ancient and terrifying. On the central view screen, they could see Sierra 7 still holding position, and the Celestial Dawn with its crew still trapped inside waiting for rescue. "All right," Jake said, moving to the main console. "Let us end this." The command center was filled with displays showing every corner of the massive station. Jake, Maya, and Alex spread out quickly. Each took a different station and worked to understand the alien systems. "This is old technology," Maya said. Her fingers moved quickly over controls that responded to touch in ways that felt almost alive. "Very old. These interfaces work with biological feedback, not just digital input. Can you shut down the weapons?" Jake asked, keeping one eye on the sealed door. The sounds of guards gathering outside were growing louder. "I am working on it. But Commander, you need to see this." Maya pulled up displays that showed not just the current station, but dozens of others scattered across unmapped space. "This is not just one isolated operation. The Dreknor have been building a network. They are capturing ships from every major species in the galaxy." "Why?" Alex asked. "What is their goal?" Lauren's voice came through their communicators, sounding urgent. "Jake, I am analyzing the data you are transmitting. This is bigger than slavery or piracy. The Dreknor are gathering genetic samples. They are building a database of every known species in the galaxy." "For what purpose?" Jake demanded. "I do not know, but the Council exterminated them for crimes against living beings. I am guessing whatever they are planning is nothing good." Jake studied the displays. His tactical mind worked through the implications. If the Dreknor had been operating in secret for 2,000 years, building this network and gathering all this information, they had to be planning something massive and terrible. "How long until you can free the Dawn?" he asked Maya. "The docking clamps are controlled from here, but there is a security protocol. I need about 5 minutes." "We do not have 5 minutes," Alex said, looking at a monitor showing the corridor outside. "They are bringing up heavy weapons. That door will not hold much longer." Jake made a decision. "Change of plans." "Maya, forget the clamps. Can you access the station's reactor?" "Probably. Why?" "Because if we cannot shut this operation down quietly, we are going to shut it down loudly. Trigger a reactor overload. We will have just enough time to get everyone off the Dawn and clear the blast radius." "Commander," Lauren's voice was sharp, "if you overload that reactor, you will destroy everything. All that data, all the evidence of what the Dreknor have been doing, will mean nothing if they continue operating," Jake interrupted. "We send the data we have to the Council right now. They can hunt down the other stations, but this one ends today." "Jake," Lauren's voice softened, "you will not have time to get back to Sierra 7. The overload sequence will start immediately once you begin it." "I know." Silence fell over the communication channel. Then Alex spoke up. "Commander, with respect, that is the stupidest thing I have ever heard." "It is not a suggestion," Jake started. "Which is why we are all staying," Maya interrupted. "You are not the only one who signed up for a one-way mission. Besides, someone needs to make sure you do not mess up the overload sequence. And someone needs to shoot the angry aliens trying to break down that door," Alex added, loading a fresh magazine into his weapon. Jake wanted to argue and order them to leave, but he knew it would be useless. They were all volunteers. They all knew what they had signed up for. In that moment, he felt fierce pride in his crew. "All right," he said. "Let us make this count. Maya, start the overload, but set it for 10 minutes. Lauren, prepare Sierra 7 to quickly extract the Dawn's crew and transmit everything we found to the Council on a priority channel." "Already done," Lauren replied. "Jake, for what it is worth, it has been an honor." "Not past tense yet, Doctor." "We are not dead until we are actually dead." The door finally buckled under sustained fire. Guards poured into the command center. What followed was chaos and violence. Jake, Maya, and Alex fought with the desperation of cornered predators. Their human endurance and pain tolerance allowed them to keep fighting even when wounded. The command center became a battlefield with alien bodies piling up as the three humans held their ground. Overload started. Maya called out over the sound of gunfire. 9 minutes. Through the view screen, they could see Sierra 7 moving into position near the Celestial Dawn. The human ship was taking fire from the station's automated defenses, but Carla's engineering skills and Danny's piloting kept them alive. Docking clamps extended from Sierra 7 and latched onto the Council vessel. "They are evacuating the Dawn," Alex reported while pausing to reload. Looks like most of the crew is still alive. 8 minutes remained, more guards flooded in. These were different from the others. They moved with military precision and wore heavier armor. Their weapons were more advanced. The Dreknor had elite forces, and they were deploying them now. These guys are better trained, Maya observed, taking cover as energy bolts melted the console beside her. Still not Deathworlders, Jake replied. Returning fire. 7 minutes remained. Commander, we have a problem. Lauren's voice cut through the battle sounds. There is another ship approaching. A big one. It is broadcasting Dreknor identification codes. On the view screen, a vessel emerged from behind a nearby asteroid. It was sleek and deadly, clearly designed for combat. Compared to it, Sierra 7 was outgunned and outmatched. 6 minutes remained on the countdown. How long until the dawn is evacuated? Jake demanded, still firing at the incoming guards. 4 minutes minimum, Lauren answered through the communicator. The crew is weak. Some need medical help. We are moving as fast as we can. Jake looked at the reactor countdown. 6 minutes until explosion. If the Dreknor ship attacked Sierra 7 right now, his crew would not have time to finish evacuating the civilians. He made another decision, one he knew his team would hate. Moving to the main communications console, he activated the station-wide broadcast system. Dreknor vessel, this is Commander Jake Morrison of the human ship Sierra 7. I am currently in your command center. Your station reactor is set to explode in 6 minutes. If you attack my ship, I detonate it immediately and we all die together. Stand down and let us leave, and you will have time to evacuate your people. There was a long pause. Then a voice responded, speaking in perfect English with an accent that suggested the speaker had studied human languages carefully. Commander Morrison, I am Dreknor Overlord Krell. You have caused significant damage to our operation and killed one of our primes. Why should I believe you will honor this deal? Because unlike you, we are not monsters, Jake replied. We came here to rescue civilians, not to commit genocide. Let us leave and we leave you alive. It is that simple. Another pause. You are either very brave or very foolish, human. Very well, you have your safe passage. But know this. The Council will learn of today's events. They will learn that humans destroyed a research facility, killed hundreds of workers, and destroyed valuable data. Your species will be cast out of civilized space. We will take our chances, Jake said. Besides, we are sending them our own data. Let them judge who the real monsters are. 5 minutes remained. The Dreknor ship began to pull back. At the same time, smaller vessels started emerging from the station's docking bays. They were evacuating just as Jake had hoped they would. Last of the Dawn's crew is aboard, Lauren reported. We are disconnecting now. Then go, Jake ordered. Do not wait for us. Jake, go, Lauren. That is a direct order. Get those people to safety. 4 minutes remained. Through the view screen, Jake watched Sierra 7 detach from the celestial dawn and begin to speed away from the station. The rescued Council ship followed more slowly, its engines damaged but working. Both vessels were moving to what should be a safe distance from the coming explosion. 3 minutes remained. The elite guards had pulled back, evacuating with everyone else. The command center was now eerily quiet except for the steady countdown and the sounds of secondary explosions as various systems began to fail. You know, Alex said, sitting down heavily against a console. I always thought I would die on some alien battlefield, not floating in space. Could be worse, Maya replied. At least we took many of them with us. Could be better too, Alex countered. I had plans. There was this girl back on Earth. 2 minutes out, Lauren's voice interrupted. And I am detecting an anomaly. Jake, the station's gravity is changing. It is like something is drawing power away from the reactor overload. Jake moved to the main console and studied the readings. Lauren was right. Something was interfering with the overload sequence. They are trying to shut it down remotely, Maya realized. The Dreknor ship. They did not run away. They are buying time. 2 minutes remained. Can they stop it? Jake asked. Maybe, probably. These systems are very sophisticated. If they have the right codes, then we do not give them the chance. Jake pulled out his sidearm and fired directly into the main reactor control panel. Sparks flew everywhere. The countdown immediately began moving faster. 90 seconds remained. What did you just do? Alex demanded. Made sure it goes off, Jake said simply. Even if they have the codes, they cannot input them now. You also made sure we cannot shut it down either. Maya protested. I know. 60 seconds remained. Jake. Lauren's voice was desperate now. The blast is going to be much bigger than we calculated. You destabilized the entire reactor core. Sierra 7 is clear, but you three are not going to make it. 45 seconds remained. Jake looked at Maya and Alex. I am sorry. I thought we would have more time. Stop apologizing, Alex said. We knew what we signed up for. For what it is worth, Maya added, we really scared them. Did you see the way they looked at us? Like we were the real monsters. Maybe we are, Jake said quietly. Maybe that is what it takes to survive in this galaxy. You have to be willing to become the thing everyone fears. 30 seconds remained. Jake, Lauren's voice was calm now, accepting what was about to happen. Earth will know what you did here. The Council will know. Those civilians will go home because of you, because of all of you. 20 seconds remained. Lauren, Jake said, take care of the crew. Take care of... The transmission cut off. The station's power was failing, taking communications with it. You know what is funny? Alex said. The Council thinks we are too dangerous and too violent. But we are about to die saving their people. That is irony, Maya agreed. Very human. 10 seconds remained. Jake closed his eyes. He thought of Earth, of blue skies and oceans, of the weight of real gravity. He thought of all the reasons humanity fought to survive on their death world, all the adaptations and evolution that had made them what they were. He thought about how proud he was to be human. 5 seconds remained. See you on the other side, Alex said quietly. The reactor core reached critical mass. The explosion was visible from 3 star systems away. The Dreknor station, which had existed in secret for centuries, was obliterated in a flash of white light that briefly rivaled the nearby sun. The shockwave tore through space, destroying everything within 100,000 kilometers. Aboard Sierra 7, Lauren Beck stared at the view screen where the station had been. Her face showed no emotion, but inside she felt like something had been torn from her chest. Around her, the bridge crew sat in stunned silence. They had known the mission was dangerous, but actually losing Commander Morrison and the security team felt unreal. Dr. Beck, Danny Foster said quietly, the Celestial Dawn is requesting communication. They want to thank us. Tell them. Lauren paused, collecting herself. Tell them we are honored to have been of service. Ma'am, Carla Price called from engineering. I am detecting strange readings from the blast site. Could be an echo, could be debris, but there is something. What? Lauren demanded, suddenly alert. There is a heat signature. Small. Moving. Lauren's heart, which had felt dead moments before, suddenly started pounding. Put it on screen. Maximum zoom. The view screen showed a section of space still glowing with leftover energy, and there, barely visible against the cosmic background, was a shape. Small, irregular, tumbling slowly through the void. Is that... Ben Walsh started. An escape pod. Lauren finished. A human escape pod. Danny, plot an intercept course now. Carla, prepare the medical bay. Move faster. Sierra 7 burned hard toward the pod. Every second felt like an hour. When they finally got close enough to grab it with the recovery arm, Lauren herself was in the airlock. She refused to let anyone else do the retrieval. The pod was damaged. Its hull was scorched and partially melted. But the seal was holding. As Lauren manually opened the emergency release, she held her breath, afraid of what she might find inside. The pod opened with a hiss of stale air. Inside, pressed together in space meant for 2 people, were 3 figures in battered combat armor. Jake Morrison, Maya Chen, and Alex Rivera were unconscious but breathing. Get Dr. Cross down here right now, Lauren shouted into her communicator, her voice breaking with relief and joy. It took 3 days for the survivors to fully recover. Jake woke first. His body's Deathworlder resilience helped him fight off the radiation exposure and injuries faster than should have been medically possible. Maya and Alex followed soon after. Both had injuries that would have killed most species, but were merely serious for humans. Report, Jake said the moment his eyes opened. Old habits were hard to break. Lauren, who had barely left the medical bay, actually laughed. You blow up a station, nearly die, and the first thing you ask for is a report? Did the civilians make it? All of them. The Celestial Dawn is on its way back to Council space. Their captain sent a message. She says humanity has friends in the Talori people for as long as stars burn. Jake nodded, satisfied. What about the data? Transmitted to the Council. And Jake, they are going crazy over it. The Dreknor network, the genetic research, the hidden stations. It is the biggest intelligence discovery in galactic history. The Council has already sent fleets to hunt down the other facilities. Good. Jake tried to sit up, felt pain, and decided to stay lying down. What about us? What is the Council saying about destroying the station? Lauren's face became guarded. That is complicated. There is a formal inquiry scheduled. Some members are calling what we did an act of war. Others are calling it heroism. The Council is divided. Let me guess, Alex said from the next bed over, his voice weak but sarcastic. The ones calling it war are the same ones who benefit from keeping humanity restricted. You are not wrong, Lauren admitted. But there is something else. Something unexpected. She pulled up a display showing dozens of messages and formal statements. Since word got out about what happened, we have been contacted by 17 different species. Some are colonies that have lost ships in dangerous sectors. Others are frontier worlds that face piracy and slave raids. They are all asking the same thing. What is that? Maya asked. They want humanity's help. They are saying that if the Council will not protect them, maybe the Deathworlders will. Jake absorbed this information in silence. When he finally spoke, his voice was thoughtful. That is a dangerous position to be in. If we start acting as protectors, the Council will see us as a threat to their authority. They already see us as a threat, Lauren pointed out. At least this way we would be a threat with allies. It is not our decision to make, Jake said. That is way above our level. We report to Earth and let the diplomats handle it. But even as he said it, Jake knew things had changed forever. Humanity had proven something in the Krell sector. Something that could not be unproven. They had shown that Deathworlders were not just survivors. They were protectors. They were warriors who would risk everything for strangers, who would charge into impossible situations because it was the right thing to do. 3 weeks later, Jake stood in the same council chamber where this had all begun. But this time the circumstances were very different. The Celestial Dawn survivors were present, filling an entire section of the gallery. Representatives from dozens of species packed the room. The mood was electric with tension. Executor Van's crystalline form refracted light in complex patterns as he called the session to order. We gathered to discuss the incident in the Krell sector. Commander Morrison, you stand accused of destroying a civilian research facility, killing hundreds of innocent workers and exceeding your authority. That is one way to see it, Jake replied calmly. Here is another way. We discovered a criminal operation engaged in slavery and genetic experimentation. We rescued 30,000 civilians, and we uncovered intelligence about a threat to every species in Council space. The Dreknor were researching methods to improve life support systems, Counselor Zex argued. Your attack destroyed years of scientific progress. The Dreknor were extinct, Lauren said, stepping forward. They were exterminated by this council 2,000 years ago for crimes against living beings. The fact that they have been operating in secret for centuries should concern everyone here. And their genetic database? A floating jellyfish-like counselor pulsed with agitation. What possible innocent purpose could that serve? We have analyzed the data extensively, Van said. For the first time, Jake heard something like real concern in the executor's voice. The Dreknor were not conducting research. They were preparing for war. A war of biological extermination against every species in the galaxy. Shocked murmurs rolled through the chamber like a wave. Jake glanced at Lauren. She looked as surprised as everyone else. This was news to them as well, Van continued. The genetic samples were being used to develop targeted diseases. Illnesses that would affect only specific species, leaving others untouched. Had they succeeded, they could have wiped out entire civilizations without firing a single shot. And humanity stopped them, a new voice said. Jake turned to see the captain of the Celestial Dawn. She was a tall, elegant Talori woman named Serena Vale. She stood in the gallery with her people standing beside her. Commander Morrison and his crew saved my people. Saved all of us. And you would accuse them of doing wrong? They exceeded their authority, Zex began, but Serena cut him off. They did what was necessary. What none of us had the courage to do. They went into the most dangerous region of space and faced an enemy that even the Dreknor's best guards feared. And they won. She turned to address the full council. I propose that humanity be granted full membership status. No restrictions. No probation. They have earned their place among us. I agree, another voice called out. Then another and another. Soon, representatives from a dozen species were voicing their support. This is irregular, Van said. but even he seemed moved by the display. A vote on full membership requires extensive deliberation. Then let us deliberate, the floating counselor said. But let us do so honestly. We have treated humanity as dangerous children, too violent and too unpredictable to be trusted. Yet when faced with true danger, it was these so-called barbarians who acted with honor and courage. Perhaps it is time we acknowledge that our definitions of civilization need to change. The debate that followed lasted for hours. Jake and his crew were asked to leave while the council talked, but they could see through the chamber's clear walls as arguments went back and forth. Some council members remained strongly opposed to full human membership. Others had been convinced by recent events. Finally, after what felt like forever, they were called back in. Commander Morrison, Executor Van said, "The council has reached a decision. It is the judgment of this body that humanity's actions in the Krell sector, while unconventional, were ultimately justified and beneficial to galactic security." Jake felt tension he did not know he had been holding begin to ease. Furthermore, Van continued, by a vote of 39-8, the Council has approved Earth's application for full membership. All previous restrictions are hereby removed. Humanity may now serve in any capacity within Council institutions, including the Peacekeepers. The gallery erupted in applause and celebration. Jake saw Serena and her people cheering. He saw representatives from dozens of species showing approval in their various ways. But he also saw Counselor Zex and others whose expressions suggested this fight was far from over. "There is one more matter," Van said once order was restored. "Commander Morrison, your actions have demonstrated a capability for military leadership that is rare in Council space. The Peacekeeper Corps has requested that you consider accepting a position as a tactical advisor. Your specific expertise in hostile environment operations would be very valuable." Jake glanced at Lauren, who gave him a small nod. Then he looked back at Van. "I will consider it, Executor. But first I have a promise to keep." "A promise?" Van asked. "When we were on that station, we saw other captives, beings from species I did not recognize, held in cells waiting to be processed. The station is destroyed, but those people are still out there somewhere, in other Dreknor facilities, and I promised I would come back for them. The Council will send recovery teams," Zex began. "With respect, Counselor, your recovery teams do not know how to fight Dreknor. But we do, and we are volunteers. All of us." Jake gestured to his crew. "Let us finish what we started." There was a long silence. Then Van's crystalline form seemed to pulse with something that might have been approval. "Very well, Commander. The Council will provide you with intelligence on suspected Dreknor locations. But understand this. You will be entering some of the most dangerous regions of space. Many believe these missions will be suicide operations. Good thing we are from a death world then," Jake replied with a slight smile. As they left the council chamber, surrounded by well-wishers and new allies, Alex leaned over to Jake. "You know, when we signed up for this mission, I thought we would be dead within a week." "Who says we will not be?" Maya pointed out. "We are about to start hunting down the most dangerous criminals in the galaxy." "True," Alex agreed. "But at least now we are doing it with the Council's blessing." "And with allies," Lauren added, nodding toward Serena Vale and her Talori companions who were approaching. "Real allies. Species who understand what humanity brings to the galaxy." Jake watched as more representatives came forward. Some offered resources. Others pledged support. Still others simply wanted to shake the hand of a human Deathworlder. It was overwhelming and,